This video is sponsored by Wildlife Command Center Coffee. More about them at the end of the video. Hey everybody, it's me, John Ward, and I am back with another One Filmmaker, One Film. And today my guest of absolute honor, and I am privileged to have him here, is
Alan Maxson.
There you go.
With my sidekick, Zira.
Nice. Kitty. Always love it when the pets join us. So
yeah.
They're always welcome.
I'm honored to be here, man. It's a pleasure to finally chat with you. We've run in many circles together for quite a few years. So
yeah, we do. Yeah. So I'm glad that Miranda Dudley, who I've worked with many times, and she does a lot of my special effects, and she's a friend of mine. She introduced us, and I thank her for doing that. So
yeah. But yeah, I think like you said, you mentioned special effects. I started in the industry as a creature performer. I still am a creature performer, and I'm always monsters, aliens, whatever non-human character needs to be embodied in a suit, makeup, prosthetics, what have you. And I'm trained in movement and stunts and acting technique through performing through prosthetics and whatnot. I've played countless non-human characters. My most notable one is King Ghidorah from Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Yes.
Did the motion capture for that with Jason Lyles and Richard Dorton. What else have I been in? Some movies that you worked on too. I've done a bunch of full moon movies. I played Blade, the suit version in Blade the Iron Cross, the most recent Puppet Master film. That one was fun because it was a mixture of Tom puppeteering, and then for the wide running or stabbing or stunt type shots, it was me in a 6 foot tall suit. And I also, along with creature acting, I've actually been a professional editor for 15 years. And so I've edited countless hours of television. I couldn't even tell you where to begin, but I guarantee you've watched something I've done. And look it up on IMDb for all the viewers. There's, I don't know, over 60 or 70 titles, something like that.
Yeah, your IMDb is quite big. I mean, if you had 6 hours, we probably still wouldn't be done with everything that's on IMDb.
We would have to. Yeah, it would. It's interesting because just post-production alone, I feel it could be its own entity. I don't really talk about it a whole lot because that's kind of just my day job. Whereas, creature performing and filmmaking is my job and my passion. And but I think it's actually, I'm here to talk as a filmmaker because that's what your show is about. But the two things that I have that I think actually led me down the path for the films that I've so far made and will make in the future, I think being a creature actor and an editor are the two reasons why that I'm able to be a director in these type of films, because all of my films have characters that are effects heavy, makeup heavy, especially my new one that we're not talking about today, but Alien Planet. I just wrapped filming 2 weeks ago, and there are no humans at all. It's all aliens, puppets, and monsters. So I think the 15 years of being an editor and a creature kind of led me to that path to make these types of movies.
Yeah, we'll talk about Alien Planet near the end. I always let people promote whatever they're working on now. So, and yeah, you could talk about that and let people know what's going on. It looks I saw the crowdfunding campaign video and I thought that it looked fun. The alien makeup looks great. So, I'm looking, forward to seeing that. And actually, I'm going to move something around. So I actually do want to talk about the creature actor part of this for a moment there, because I am a big Andy Serkis fan. And I stopped watching the Academy Awards because they don't have an award for people who do that type of acting. And I think that is very unfair. If they can create an effects, award for Rick Baker for An American Werewolf in London, why can they not create something for people who do like creature acting or is there an actual term for it? It's not just creature actor or actors. Is there an act like motion
I
capture
just
or
call it acting because it's no different. I think for me at least, you have to be just as strong, if not a stronger actor than being a human character, because not only do you have to be real and it has to show, but it has to show through layers of prosthetics, a suit, or if it's Andy Serkis, it has to show through the digital compositing of the motion capture. So I think, the title is just, you're an actor. And I think being a creature actor is more of a marketing thing for getting hired. People like myself or like Doug Jones, I think we call ourselves creature actors because that's what we go for. Those are the type of roles we're seeking. Whereas if we just say we're an actor, I think, one of them speaks louder for why you should be hired for a particular role. But it is just acting in itself.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw Andy Serkis with, of course, Lord of the Rings and him as Gollum, and then as Caesar in the Planet of the Apes movies, I mean, I cried. He made me cry. And it's just like, wait, but this isn't a person. I'm looking at an effect. And how is this gorilla making me cry? How is this, or chimpanzee in his case, making me cry? How is this creature who wants this ring making me cry? And I just thought there needs to be an award for this. There has to be something, because even watching the behind the scenes with like you in, Godzilla King of Monsters, and you got the bubbles on you and you're just on stage with a whole bunch of green around you. That to me is 100 times harder than being an actor, because you don't even know what you're technically looking at. You're looking at a tennis ball and that's it. But I see a monster.
Yeah, totally. Well, motion capture is very different than practical, for the sense of when you're acting, it's almost like the muscle of imagination has to be flexed to its strongest, and you cannot release the muscle. Practical, so if you're a creature that's under makeup and suit, it's physically there what you look like. You have an actor there who's screaming, there's blood everywhere, and like you're physically doing your stunts. Whereas things like Godzilla, we were physically doing our stunts, but we didn't have city buildings next to us. We did have a couple cardboard boxes if there's a moment that we needed to smash into a specific building. But like looking at people and biting and breathing and flying, there's things like that where you just have to use your imagination and you can't break it. The reason why I say you have to keep that muscle flexed is because, example, King Ghidorah, he's the size of a skyscraper. So I can never forget that there's always going to be little people by my feet. You can't just be focused. So during a stunt where we're battling Godzilla, while I had the actor there who played Godzilla and my other two Ghidorah heads to play off of, we couldn't forget that there's bullets being shot at us from down below, possible airplane bullets, people. Those are things that aren't physically there, so you have to remember. And even temperature. When Ghidorah wakes up in the movie, he's in ice and it's cold. And you kind of have to take into that, remembering what would it be like if you're waking up and you're kind of frozen. You can feel your jaw and your eyes, like the tension you feel when you're out in the snow, versus if it's practical and you're really out there, you don't have to pretend because you feel it. So that imagination muscle is really, I think, the biggest difference, which gives big props to people like Andy Serkis. But also there are many other things that I think in the practical side are harder and more challenging than VFX. So it's like they're both just so different. Like you said, they both just deserve to be recognized.
Yeah, and it's kind of like when and this is stunts, but it's like when Phantom Menace came out and everybody went, "Ooh, Darth Maul," and then we found out the guy's name was Ray Parks, and then we found out Ray Parks was starting to actually act in films more than just doing stunts. So he was an X-Men. So then it's just like, oh, that's the guy who plays Darth Maul. I want to go see that because now he's an X-Men. And I feel that's the same way with like what you do is once the people's names start getting out there, like who played Golem or who played, King Ghidorah, and that name starts resonating with people because it's mentioned so much, then, right. Then all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to go see that movie with Alan in it because he was the guy that was in Godzilla and he was, part of King Ghidorah. And I think that that's really cool. And that's the type of thing that I want to see in the same way with like makeup artists, it could be like Miranda or going as far back as Tom Savini. When you hear that somebody who's behind the camera is actually like, that's the guy who did the special effects of Dawn of the Dead.
Yep.
I want to see him. To me, that's so much more interesting and cool than just a regular actor. And I'm not putting down regular actors. I'm just saying there's like a mystique behind it.
Well, I think the thing about it is while it's less recognized with Academy and awards, I think it's more recognized and loved, and the fans are more loyal because think about all of the, like Andy Serkis and Doug Jones, and even think about way back, go back to Lon Chaney, Boris Karloff. Those names are engraved into the community of horror and sci-fi as beloved people. And you mentioned Tom Savini, just anyone who isn't hugely recognized. Like I think Rick Baker got very lucky with being recognized. But I bet you, if we look back at his history, it probably took a while and it probably later than it should have. But I think it's one of those things where the fan base is just so much more loyal and they'll never forget you. It's the same as you look at characters from Star Trek or, Armin Sherman. No one knows that name unless you love Ferengis.
Right.
It's one of my favorite characters from Star Trek. And I'll never forget his name. And I respect his work immensely. But I guarantee you, if you tell the average person in the Midwest who's Armin Sherman, they're like, who?
What? Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, and that was something that my friends and I always liked was when we saw the Star Trek guys doing other things out of makeup. That I was like, oh, it's so cool that they gave, the actor from Star Trek Voyager, a role in a film, just, and they're not playing Odo or something, they're not playing a Klingon. And I always think that that's kind of cool because you can recognize them, for just doing other things. So I think what you do should be brought out more. I think that it should be looked at and discussed more, and that there should be categories for these type of things. And
well, maybe we can get a petition for all the listeners out there. Start a petition, guys. Let's get Alan Maxson nominated for something.
Yeah, there you go. Because it can't be easy. I mean, I've seen some behind the scenes footage on YouTube from Godzilla King of Monsters, and there's 3 of you that are playing King Ghidorah, and you all got to work in some sort of unison. And if one person is off, I'm guessing you got to go back and do it again.
Yeah, we actually tried the first day. We actually tried tying ourselves together at the hips, at the legs, and walking in unison. And after that, it actually ended up being a little too clumsy because every stunt and every fight that you see between Ghidorah and Godzilla in the movie, we did in real life. That was all motion capture. So those are heavy stunts. We were pushing and falling and swiping and biting. And I think there's one distinct one you can find online where Godzilla has my head and he smashes me into some cardboard boxes, which is the scene when he smashes the right head of Ghidorah into a building. And those things are hard to do when you're tied to 2 other people. So we ended up actually taking the straps off. And what we did was Richard and I, who were on the outside and then Jason in the center, Richard and I just put our hands on his back. And we're like, all 3 of us are stunt guys. We're all actors. We'll know when the other one's moving. We'll just be intuitive. We'll work as one. And it was flawless after we made that adjustment. We basically just kept our hand on Jason's back because he was in the center. and the three of us just moved perfectly in unison. And I think it was a nice smooth ride after that.
What was the first film that you did that in?
Motion capture?
Yes.
So Godzilla was my first film for motion capture. But my first job with motion capture would have been, I did a pilot called True Cats, and it was basically like a kid's version of what was that show with Matthew McConaughey?
That's McConaughey.
True something.
Not True Calling? Not True Calling.
It was a cop show.
True Blue?
No.
Is it on your IMDb? Because I'm on it right now.
No, the one that I did was called True Cats. And it was a kid's version of that. And it's basically cats that were busting bad, like, drug dealer cats, but it's a drug catnip and stuff.
Damn those cats.
Yeah, it was really fun. So that was my first job as motion capture. But it was just like a pilot, a spec thing that I don't know if it ever even went anywhere. But then Godzilla was my first actual film that I did. So I started up big with motion capture. I went right for the big one.
Well, and what got you into what came first? Acting, editing, directing? What came first with you?
Well, if you count not professional, acting, because I acted in high school. I was in all the musicals and plays and stuff from 8th grade till I graduated. But professionally, I took a break from performing to work in post-production. I wanted to get my feet on the ground in Los Angeles and just get some steady work and income. And so I got into post-production, and that was my day job ever since then. So that's where I started professionally. And then at one point I got back into performing because, when someone has creative drives and things like that, like performers, you can't stay away from it for long. You at some point go, I got to get back to doing something fun, something I care about, something I love. And so then I dove headfirst into creature performing. And then directing came after that, which was just kind of, I guess, I think it was kind of a natural progressive step of, I don't want to be editing as a day job forever. So I think my end goal career-wise is to be a creature actor / director. And the transition is moving. The transition is happening. So it's just a matter of booking enough of both of those jobs to not have to worry about editing afterwards.
Could you do a directing job and do like the motion capture at the same time? How some directors act in their films. Is that possible to do? Is that too difficult?
I would if I had the right budget. So my first 2 movies that I directed, I played a lead character in with prosthetics and makeup. And the bummer about that is I'm in the makeup chair for half the day and the director can't be gone for half the day. So for Alien Planet, which I mentioned earlier, has no humans, it's all actors with makeup, puppets, monster suits. I knew there is no way this film could be done correctly dividing my time up. So I had to focus and be the director. So I did not give myself an on-camera role. I have a voice role that I'm going to do in it because I can do that in post-production. But I wanted to be an alien in it so bad, but it just a movie of that level, a feature film with all those moving parts, I had to focus and just be the captain. So, but if I had, a big studio budget, I think it would be easy because you could divide up your time and you could have a right-hand man or woman to, hold the ship down while you're in the makeup chair. So I think it's definitely possible if you have the money and time.
Okay, yeah, because on when I was looking at IMDb, you have your reel is on there, and it's the creature acting reel. So you could definitely get a good, I think it's like 3 minutes. You can get like a good 3-minute look at what you're doing, and it's a bunch of different stuff. I saw some things in there that I definitely want to see. And yeah, then I saw something that online that said that called you. There's like a little synopsis, and it just says that you're playing monsters and creatures. So it definitely seems like a huge variety. And since I have IMDb up, let's quickly look at. I'll just name a few of the films here. So you're in Thanksgiving 3, so a trauma. You're on
that one's not trauma. That one, I believe, is just independent.
I thought Thanksgiving, well, at least released through Trauma.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought that it was. Arrested Development, one of my all-time favorite shows. You're on that.
I actually met my wife on that.
Oh, nice.
We were doing background, and I had the role of shaking Terry Cruz's hand for 10 hours.
It is such a great show. So congratulations on that. So that's awesome, especially on that TV show. We got you I'm just going to name this because it sounds funny. Homeless Zombie Attacks. You play a homeless zombie. That's a short film. We got you in the Juno Coneheads Christmas Party. You play Dad.
Wow, I forgot I even did that. That was fun. That was a short film. Basically, it was like a fan film for Coneheads. And I channeled my best Dan Aykroyd and got the part.
I didn't know. Evil Bong 5. You're the ginger dead man's mouth.
Yep.
That I did not know. I own all of those. So Evil Bong High 5.
I played his mouth in 3 commercials, Evil Bong 5, 6, 7, and the Ginger Weed Man.
Oh, wow. Okay. We got a music video for Christmas with Cookie's Rap, which we will be discussing that rap song because there is one at the end of Christmas with Cookie. Killjoy Psycho Circus. You play Bob and Psycho 5.
That's the cool thing with being a creature actor is in a lot of these things, I get to play multiple characters because they cover me with makeup. So you don't know it's the same actor.
Yes. And I have to say, I've experienced this now once. So James Blasimo was out here. He was working with Tom Devlin on one of his films. He was filming at the Monster Museum. And I know of him. He knows of me. Tom said, hey, do you want to be part of this? I said, sure, I would love to. I like James. I've never worked with him before, but I'd love to be part of his film. So I went out, met James, and I was basically just supposed to be torn up by like zombies. That was it. That was my thing. I have a few lines of dialogue and then I get killed. And then I said, hey, I'll hang out. I'll just be crew. If you need something, let me know. I'll go get it. So later on, he goes, okay, you're going to go be a wall. So I went back and I became a wall. He actually built a wall around me and colored my face and I became a wall. And then I was done with the wall and I'm like, okay, is there anything you need? He goes, yes, now you're going to be a zombie, but you're not the guy from before. So go get your jacket on so you can look like a different zombie. So I got to play 3 characters in his film. I had no idea I was going to be doing that. And it was great because, they made me look different for each part. And it was really fun. I spent like the whole day out there, late into the night, and it was great fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's very Star Trek of them to make you a wall.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really was like the wall with the bricks on it and all that.
Yep.
And my face was stuck through it and was all white and it was pretty funny. And then let's see, what else do we got here? We got, man, you got so many. Evil Bong 666. Then we got another Christmas with Cookie. You're gonna have to tell me about these. This is locked away. Then Bloodsucker Jones versus Creeping Death. Because there's in Christmas with Cookie, there is the DVD for Bloodsucker Jones. So we're gonna talk about that. Cookie with Christmas, The Watching. Evil Bong 777, and that's the one I worked on. So you were once again Gingerweed Man Mouth. I mean, so many here to just This one sounds interesting. Oh, this is one of those full moon ones. Bunker of Blood #7, Killjoy's Carnage Caravan.
What's Bunker?
Charles Band and Full Moon, they like to take feature movies and then condense them into like small anthologies.
Huh.
Yeah, I have a few of them. Let's see. Then we'll look at, man. Yeah, so you're in another one. Bunker of Blood, Chapter 8. Butcher's Bake Off, Hell's Kitchen. This all did
things I didn't even know existed. I'm gonna have to find these.
Yeah, they're out there. Yeah, and that one deals with Ginger Dead Man.
Huh.
Yeah, Blade, the Iron Cross. Oh, you're in a Five-Finger Death Punch short. Scream. You're in like a fan film for Scream, where you play the Ghostface voice.
Yeah, that was a great time, actually.
Yeah, that I can imagine. You're in Hacked. You play Alex, which is this film right here.
There I am.
Yeah. How did this come about? How did Hack come about?
Well, I'm good friends with Matt Liel, Matt Festel, and Alexis Payanessa, who made this movie. And they made that during the pandemic. When the world first shut down, they were like, we're going to make a movie strictly over Zoom. And I believe there's one scene that's not on Zoom, and I got to be in that scene. So I was very excited. I got to, heckle and intimidate Matt's character, which was fun. So that was a great time. I think everyone should go watch that movie for sure.
Oh yeah, I loved it, and I'll make this story fast because I gave to their crowdfunding a couple times because I really wanted to support Matt and both Matts, and so I have 2 Blu-rays, one signed and one not, and I got a poster for it and all that stuff, and I got the movie, and I messaged Matt and I said I need to talk to you, and he's like uh-oh. And I call him and I go, this is why I wanted to talk to you. And I didn't just want to text you. I loved Hacked. I got to tell you, I said, I think this is great. I thought it was just going to be some crappy shot on your phone pandemic movie. And it would just, everybody would send in their films that all be different qualities. And I'm like, dude, I love this film. And I've told him that a couple of times. I'm a huge fan of Hacked. So
it's super good.
Yeah, I'm a very big fan. And then the Ginger Weed Man, not Ginger Dead Man anymore. Now we have the Ginger Weed Man you are in. And Shadow Marsh, which are the Matt's newest film.
Yep.
We got your movie. You do play a voice, like you said, Alien Planet. A Ninja Turtles. I guess I can't say Teenage Ninja, but just Ninja Turtles Blood Brothers short. And then
that was cool. That was like a practical Bebop and Rocksteady suit. You might have seen it in my reel.
It is in it, yeah.
That was super fun.
Yeah, that looks great. And then of course the last one that's on here is Creeping Death. I love that title.
That was fun. We just shot that in New York a month or 2 ago. That was a good time.
Yeah, God, man, you've been in so much stuff. And then yeah, as a director, you got all the Christmas with Cookie films. You got
there should only be one. I don't know why there's more. They're terrible.
There's so 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Then Patina, which we'll get to, which is a short alien play. I mean, I could just go on. Editor, 25 titles. Editorial department, 29. Additional crew, 19. Producer, 14. Cast, 1. Writer, 6.
If you also look on those editor titles, some of them have 40 episodes each. So I've edited so many hours of television. It's crazy.
Yeah. In Ice Cold Blood, Common Knowledge, Framed by the Killer, It Feels Evil, Divided, Eli Ross, History of Horror. Oh, that's cool. Ton of stuff in here.
I also want to play a zombie in the opening sequence for the History of Horror.
Oh, nice. 50 years of Star Trek.
That was a fun one. That actually, I edited that before I even watched any episodes of Star Trek. and now I'm a huge Trekkie.
Yeah. Late Night with James Corden. That's nothing to, you know, that's a huge show.
Yeah, I believe I edited, I'd have to double check, but I think I edited the carpool karaoke version with Elton John and Adele, I believe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I was there for a month, I think. What do I have on there? Is it like 4 or 6 episodes or something?
No, there's 8.
8. Yeah, it sounds like about a month, I think.
Yeah, because there's like Zac Efron, J.K. Simmons, Gillian Anderson. There's a ton of people on here.
I was so excited for the Gillian Anderson one. I'm such a huge X-Files fan. I was geeking out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, we could be on here for 6 hours talking about this stuff. Producer 14, casting 1, writer 6, camera and electrical department 5, soundtrack 1, sound department 2. I mean, man, special thanks 17, as yourself 25. I mean, wow, that's quite the resume there.
Thank you. Yeah, well, it's like I've been working professionally, for almost 15 years, like I said, so it's a lot can happen in 15 years.
Oh yeah. So, man, well then let's get into this, because there's too much over there to look at. So
we'll have to do one of just post-production or something like that to dive in.
Yeah. Well, okay. So when we were talking about you doing this, you sent me a copy of Christmas with Cookie. I had no idea.
Let me pause you, John.
Oh, is that the doorbell?
Yep. Give me one moment.
Okay. He has a Godzilla King of Monsters poster up on his wall. That's cool. So let's see. So he's the stunt coordinator on Creeping Death, casting director on a film called Gambling Man.
Are you talking about me while I'm away?
Yep. Giving some people some.
That out. Just gonna keep going.
I may or may not. I don't know. I'll see how it goes. Okay. So you sent me when we started talking about this. Like I said, Christmas with Cookie. I had no idea what to expect. This is it here, and I was looking at this cover, going, "Okay, this looks crazy." And there's the back, and there's a lot on this. So there's the DVD of it. And this is one of the craziest movies I've ever seen. And it's 2 stories. And it was made back in 2016, or at least came out in 2016. And it's around 53 minutes. And I did not know what to expect from this. I have at least 2 pages, front and back, of notes. Just on
these notes because of confusion, because of the terrible movie, or these questions of excitement?
Not confusion and enjoyment, because I'm just like, what is going on here? I was never bored. I was watching this thing just like what is going on here? So it's, and you got a lot of credits on this film too. So it's written, edited, produced, co-directed by you. And then there's an ad on the back. Okay. The best Christmas movie ever, says no one. Oh, well, let me put it over here. There he is. Best Christmas movie said by no one. That kind of says a lot.
It's terrible. There's no hiding it. We know this movie is what it is.
Now, why do you say it's terrible? In a joking way terrible, or do you actually think it's terrible?
Are you sure you watched this movie?
I have very weird taste. Okay. So, I mean, the one filmmaker that just went up today was for Bigfoot's Bride. And the director goes, "Oh, it was meant to be a comedy. I know it's horrible." And it's like, dude, I loved it. I didn't think it was horrible. I absolutely loved it. But if you look at the reviews, I'm obviously in the minority. So
the reviews are entertaining for Christmas with Cookie. They're hilarious. So I say it's terrible because my intentions when I wrote it were to make a bad movie. So when I made this movie, I originally wanted to direct something better, but I know that I have to have a proof of concept to show that I can just finish a product. And I knew I'd have to step it up each film to get to where I want it to be, which is my end result where I'm at currently with Alien Planet. And then I'm just going to keep going up from there. But I knew starting with Cookie, this was kind of what I had to do to get to Alien Planet. And basically, I was like, I can really only dedicate $1,000 to making a movie, which is nothing for a movie. So that was the whole goal. I was like, I'm going to make this movie with only $1,000, and it's going to be intentionally bad because you can't make a genuinely good movie that low of budget. So I leaned into it. I said, this is all I have. This is all I have to work with, and everybody's volunteer. So let's just lean into having fun. And that's why I say it's bad. It's because our intentions were to make it bad, but to lean into that.
I can normally find good things in almost any movie. There is rarely any film that I have had huge problems with. The latest one being Halloween Kills, which I think is garbage, especially compared to the first one. You know, the first of that trilogy. I thought it was.
You like the first of the trilogy better, huh?
I think the first one was a solid 90-minute film, and I like that there were a lot of open questions, like we didn't know how we exactly got captured. I liked all that. I thought it was very solid. And the second one I thought was way too long. If I ever have to hear Evil Dies Tonight again, I will shoot myself. I mean, I think it's just such overindulgence. It's so bad. And I'm a huge fan of like Danny McBride. I'm a huge fan of the director. I'm a huge Anthony Michael Hall fan. So I was psyched for this thing. Nope. I may even just do like a whole review on how bad I thought it was. So it's just, so to me, I think I would rather watch this again. I would rather watch.
Will you leave an Amazon review that says this is better? I want that to go down in history.
Yeah. Or if you ever re-release this, just have me on it. Better than Halloween Kills, something like that.
I will put it on the poster that I'm making right now for the re-release.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, add a little bit more to it, but I mean, that would be very funny because it's awful because I liked some things in this. One, I like the opening credits; they're always moving and were very entertaining. Most credit sequences are boring. I like that it takes place in the year 3978 for some reason. There is a reason. What is?
That is the year that's written on the spaceship when Colonel Taylor lands on the planet of the apes.
Oh, see, I knew I wrote it down for a reason. I knew that there had to be some reason that was the year that you put.
3978. Yep.
Very nice. And I also read that your short film, Patina, takes place in the same world as Cookie Saves Christmas.
Do you remember in Patina when he's on the phone with her and he's like, he hears someone talking, he goes, hey, I gotta go. Just take care of it and I'll be home. If you crank the volume and listen to what's the voice is saying to him on the phone, he's working at a news station and it's his boss saying, hey, there's a news story about some people want to kill Santa. We got to get on this right now. And it's supposed to be the moment when Peter and Prudence in Christmas with Cookie take revenge on Santa. And so that's my connection for those. And there's also little Easter eggs connecting both of those movies to Alien Planet as well.
Oh, okay. All right. So you got this universe kind of all set up now. So I'd mentioned to a different director on another episode that I'm the worst of trying to make worlds for things. Like I've just stopped. I just like, well, maybe Axis can be connected to Meat Hook 4. It just didn't work. It's like, God, I'm awful at this. This just really sucks. I should just start from scratch. So I'm always impressed when people can kind of just naturally put worlds, together with their films. So I like that. I think it's cool that you're doing that.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, and I thought the makeup for Cookie looked really good.
That's where all of the budget went.
Well, it's all shot in a desert for the most part, and it looks like the woods.
Well, I knew that. So because of the type of television I tend to edit are more docu-reality, game show, talk show, things like that. And the way to drive a story with very little budget is a talking head, a narrator. And so that was the point of Cookie, was he was actually a crutch to drive the story. But I leaned into it and I made him like Mystery Science Theater meets Tales from the Crypt. And that way it's a crutch, but fun, so nobody realizes it's a crutch. And because he was, the storyteller, he had to look the best. His stuff had to be the predominant looking footage, and it is. You can tell it's drastic when we're on him versus in the story he's telling.
Well, and you're Cookie, and you play Santa.
Yes, I was not originally going to play Santa, but no one else was willing to commit to that many days for no pay, so it was me.
Yeah, and I found these characters to be so interesting that I actually took photographs of them as I was watching. Let me just get this to where, come on, portrait. There we go. See if I can get him sideways here. Come on. There it goes. So I was taking pictures as I was going through so I could remember. And so the Santa and then Mrs. Claus. So he's got the Santa Claus suit on. She's got like the Mrs. Claus suit. But now there's green all over them. And they're wearing these two masks that are white, green, and red. And like the balls on the back of their hats are even green. He's later on has like the bullets strapped across him and has an axe. And then she has like a rifle. What type of world are we living in here where that's where Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus look like? What was going on with that design with them? How did you figure that
out? Zaniness. Like I said, we're just leading into all aspects of zany, bad, goofy, over the top. And that just visually worked. We were just like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Give it to them. Yeah, make them have it. Make them be, crazy looking Santa and Mrs. Claus. Because a movie like this would genuinely be so boring if you didn't give it all of that eye candy. Like the movie itself, if you imagine trying to take it serious or have things be actually realistic, you'd just be like pulling teeth to finish it. Whereas when you have it so wacky and so over the top, it's exactly like you said. You're just like on the edge of your seat, like, I can't stop watching this train wreck. It keeps you hooked. And I think that was the goal. And obviously it worked.
Yeah. And I'm going to sneeze any second now, because then, there's the two characters that are at the beginning, which I didn't realize were brother and sister, as they're opening their gifts and they're talking about the two fingers and then doing anal stuff in the shower. And I'm just like, oh, they're kinky. And then later on, I find out that they're brother and sister. But then
I got to say, all of that stuff, the sex stuff, and even the brother and sister comment, were all improv. I would like the world to know I did not write that. That was all spat out by the actors in the moment.
I don't know. It clearly says right here in my notes, written by you. Written by. So
I should have added an amendment of ad libs by actors, but they said it was just too ridiculous. Like when Justin said, "But you're my sister," or whatever his comment was, I just died laughing. I was like, I have to keep that in there. It's so fun.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, and then we go into the future, which would be the 3978, and they are these bizarre skeletons. I told you I took pictures throughout this whole thing as I thought this is the stuff I love. So when you're saying, are you sure you watched this movie? This is the stuff I love. So the skeletons are, so the guy, the brother, he has like a green face with X's in his eyes. And then the sister there, she has her own skull with the wig on. But what I like about them is they're not like the skeletons that I used in Meat Hook 4, which is the full like 5-foot skeleton that's supposed to be anatomically correct. Right. These are like the ones that you buy at like Spirit Halloween, because they even have the little, they got the little loop in their head, you know, for the string to go through to hold them up, which you guys didn't remove. So, no. So I thought that was funny, and I thought they looked great. I mean, it reminded me of like an insane Muppet movie.
That's what the goal was. We literally just stuck broom poles up their butts and just bounced them across the screen.
Yeah, and they yeah, because that's the next one I want to show. Yeah, because it's it seemed very animated to me, very like comic bookish. I could almost see this if it wasn't so bloody. I could almost see this being like double featured with Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, like that type of thing.
By Cook.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. What do you see it double featured with? And it doesn't have to be a kid's thing, but if you did like a midnight movie, what could you see the second feature being with this?
I could see this being the second one to Thanksgiving, because you got to watch them in holiday order.
Ah, okay.
Which I'm actually friends with Jordan and Kevin, so maybe one day we can actually make that happen.
That would be great. I would watch that. You know, because now that I own, you know, Christmas with Cookie and I own Thanksgiving, I own that box set with both films in it. I could have my own double feature on that one.
Exactly.
If it never happens, I could just do it myself.
I think we should do that.
Yeah. Now, what is the Blood Sucka Jones DVD? What is that all about? Because that looked like a real DVD when he opened it. It didn't look like it was just made. It looks like real.
So Blood Sucka Jones is a movie that Justin, the actor who played him, is the writer-director for. And there's 2 of those. He's also doing a new movie called Zandu Hellfire. And you'll find that on Indiegogo, actually, as we speak, crowdfunding. Okay. And the presents that they open were both product placement. One, because he did me a favor by being in the movie. So I was like, let's do product placement for your movie. And then the other one, which Brianna opens, is Penchant Lube, was because I'm friends with the owner of Penchant Lube. And, and I was like, send me some bottles and I'll put an advertisement in the movie.
Now, is she okay with like anal sex being brought up and having sex in the shower with it and all that stuff? Does she have like a good sense of humor with that?
That was all improv by her.
Oh, so she is the actress, the owner?
No.
But that was all the person who, so she was okay with all that, because I found that to be funny.
The actress, or are you talking about the owner of the pension?
The owner. She was okay with the actress saying all that?
He's okay with that.
Oh, he's okay.
He had no qualms at all. He thought it was hilarious and he was excited.
Well, yeah, because now it's a whole new thing that he could sell that product with. So he, you know, down the line of everything that you can always use it with, he can just kind of hand right in anal sex and shower, you know, with sister, you know, something like that, you know.
That's funny. I believe he just sold the company a month ago, so I guess that's a problem for the new owners.
Yeah. And then I noticed that Mrs. Claus' name is Mary. Now, I did look this up, and Mary is one of the many names of Mrs. Claus. I originally thought maybe it had some religious or biblical thing going for it. But
it was because I did the same Google search you did, and that's what I found.
Okay, so that makes sense. And the costumes, who came up with the costumes for Mr. and Mrs. Claus? Because like the mask, the green, the rifle, the axe. I mean, who came up with all that?
My budget did. So those were the cheapest priced Christmas suits. So that's what we got.
There you go. Well, it's funny is that's what I told Miranda originally when we were doing our stuff is I would tell her like, cause she bought these a male and female mannequin. And I said, you know, whatever money I paid her for, I said, oh, we're going to use this like 20 times that amount that I gave. And she goes, no, you can't do that. She goes, it won't be, you know, I want to show off like original work. And I'm like, Miranda, just make the holes in the body different, or just do, you know, there's so many different things that you could do with a mannequin. And she finally kind of came around to it. So now, yeah, if I buy a fake arm or I buy a fake head or whatever it is, that thing's now going to be used about 20 times. And I will write a movie around that effect just so I can use it. And now, and I tell her, go to camp, man, make it yours. I don't care. You know, make it a Miranda effect. Don't make it an effect that I got at the 99-cent store.
I'm actually one of the backers for your, I believe it's is it 1 and 2 or 3 and 4? I don't remember.
Probably 3 and 4, because I'm going to do them together. So thank you.
You're welcome. I didn't donate a lot, but I donated because
I appreciate that. Yeah. A lot of the times I can't give to crowdfunding campaigns. So I buy the movie when it comes out.
I do the same. If I can't during the campaign, I'll support it after somehow. Yeah.
So that's what I normally do with stuff. So whenever people see me on Facebook going, you know, mail day, and I'm holding an indie movie, it's normally because thank you.
It's your payout to that person. You not only did you buy it, you're also like advertising it. So it's worth more, and your payment is worth more actually with that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love promoting stuff and I love helping people. So I mean, if it can't be with, you know, giving to the campaign, then I'll do it afterwards. So totally. And I'll share the campaign too. Everybody should share campaigns. That's definitely, you know,
that's how you get them made.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Now, one thing I thought was funny, and the guy he didn't break the fourth wall, but he went a little meta, I think, with it, is the cheap background where we're seeing the desert and then the sky. And why? So what was that? Was that like your backyard and you just put up this giant, like I don't know, tarp or whatever it was? Or
yeah, it was one of the actresses' backyards because we didn't have a day to actually go to the desert or something, and we had to pick up that scene. So I bought on Amazon a desert backdrop, and when we hung it, you could see all the fold wrinkles still. So we were just like, oh, that's so bad. So we just made a comment about it.
Were you expecting it to look real to fool people, or did you know that this was going to be more for comic effect?
I think at that point, I didn't care. I knew it wasn't going to be real, but I also was like, whatever it is, we'll make it work. That was kind of the mentality at the moment.
Well, see, that's why I'm saying that it kind of reminded me of like the Muppets on acid or something, because you also have like the skeletons that are running around, and then you have the aliens that pop up, and it just reminded me very much of just, you know, Meet the Feebles or something. That it was just this crazy, you know, movie, and so that's why I enjoyed it, and I would watch it again.
I hope you do.
Well, and then you have here, we briefly talked about it, but I just like showing the pictures. So you have so there's Mr. and Mrs. Claus there, and they got their guns and their axes. And I took this because they got the weapons on them, but I just think they're really cool looking.
You know, my favorite thing about this movie is actually the music. It was all originally composed by my friend Tim Parker, and it's so well done. I basically told him, I said, I want you to channel Jerry Goldsmith from the original Planet of the Apes, but for Christmas. And I feel like he did it. Like, his music is so good in the movie.
I liked it. Yeah. It stands out, and which means you need to bring out a CD, so that way you can put the rap song on as the very last song.
Yes.
Did you sing the rap song? Was that actually you singing?
Oh yeah, that was me.
Nice. I'm like, he's actually rapping. There's a rap song at the end of this, which goes past the credits, and it goes into scenes from the movie and stuff. Because it's like, well, we can't just fade out on the song. We got to show the whole song, you know. And I thought that was funny. So now we're at the part of the film where Mrs. Claus gets kidnapped by the aliens, and they look one is green and one is gray, so that's correct as far as how our aliens look. and their spaceship has skull wallpaper in the background. and you can't see it, but behind Mrs. Claus there is like a man hanging on the wall.
That's one of the other directors. That was my co-director, Sean Schminke.
Oh, that's funny. And is this a vape thing that they're like their translator? Is that for vaping?
No, what was it? It was some sort of bejeweled like flute or something. I don't remember. Oh, it was because I bought a bunch of stuff during Halloween time and I saw it in the store for like $1. It was like a 1920s cigarette extension.
Oh, okay.
But it was bejeweled. So I was like, sounds good to me.
Yeah, I thought they would just put it up and then all of a sudden they'd be all be talking English, which I like that you do because a lot of people just have them speak English.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or they'd hit a button on the wall and then they speak English, but they actually had to have some sort of like a translator.
Device.
Yeah, to do it. And then the next scene on that is our Santa Claus is fighting the skeleton, and the skeleton has a machete, which I love how it's strapped to his hand. That is hilarious. and he ends up like cutting off his hand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny hearing you say this because I haven't seen this movie in years, so I'm forgetting these things as you tell me.
Well, and now the machete and the axe both have green on them. What is the green? What's the semblance with the green on everything?
Just because it's Christmas colors.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, red and green.
Okay, that makes sense. There you go. And then we have, let's see, Alien on UFO, Mrs. Claus. Now you had a fair amount of like CGI blood, lots of CGI blood, but you also had some real blood. And then you had a lot of limbs being cut off, which I liked because the limbs definitely look like they were got at the 99-cent store, because you can tell it's the plastic ones that are like $1 if you got them out of a bin. And I always find that funny when people use that stuff, because they don't do anything different with it to make it look real. You could just see the plastic outline where the two pieces were stuck together.
Yeah.
So I never know if it's intentional or not, if it's, you know, like if it's a serious slasher movie, but you could see that line. It's like, wait, maybe put some blood on it. And then Santa, of course, kills the female alien, cuts her head off. That's not a good thing. And I'm not going to give all this away because I do want people to see it. But there is an explosion in the movie. We'll say. I don't want to say how it gets there because I liked it. And but we're told that. Well, I guess I have to say this, that the Mr. and Mrs. Claus are allegedly, they're assumed dead, but they're not dead. And then that leads us into the second film that you have, and that is, so that the second one, now why 2 stories? Why not 3 or 4 or just one long story?
You know, in my mind, this kind of is 2 stories. It's just they wake up years later. So it's still the same story. There's just a huge time jump because they're asleep.
1,000 years. Yeah. That's a pretty big jump. And the good thing is they're not decomposed or anything. They're fine. They're in the exact same spot. So they wake up and we get to meet
they didn't even get moved over 1,000 years. They never like dragged.
Yeah, they're just there. They're just perfectly there. Nobody's come by to take the weapons or fight or whatever. So yeah, it's just perfect. And is this upside down? Oh, it is upside down. There we go. Yeah, so 1,000 years, and then Mr. and Mrs. Claus wake up and they meet an awesome, giant, abominable snowman. I love that costume.
Which we did practically. We made it with forced perspective.
Yes. Yeah, you kept doing the up shots, so it looked bigger than what it was. And then when it falls on the ground, I noticed that it looks like a twig, but it's meant to be a tree. And I don't know if it was intentional that there was like a plant or something down by his feet, but it worked. Whatever it was, intentional or not, it actually looked like he was by a tree. But I think it's like a twig.
I don't remember the shot, to be honest. Yeah.
I look at all this stuff.
I know there's a shot where you see his foot come into frame, and then Mr. and Mrs. Claus are way back there. That was all in one shot too. We had just the foot super close to the camera, and then we had them way back there. So that was fun.
Yeah, this is after he takes a nap. So he
this is when Santa like busts out of him and stuff, right?
Yes, he swallows him whole. And that's pointed out very much, that he's eaten whole, and then he's inside his liquid stomach, which is clearly a swimming pool, because you can even see like there was graffiti or something on the swimming pool that got covered up, because you can see the cement and the floor. But I thought that's genius, you know, for
also, that scene was so funny because when Evan, he's the guy who, the abominable snowman keeper, the guy who's crying, when he is in there in real life, no, he goes into Santa's stomach.
He goes into Santa as revenge.
So when he's in Santa, Evan wouldn't sink. He would just float. So when he was in there, and it was freezing cold. It was like winter time for some reason when we got in there. And so I just took the pool cleaner that's on the big pole in the net, and I just put it on his back and held him underwater. And I was like, I'm holding you under, because he wouldn't stay under. He just kept floating up. So we're like holding this guy, and he's so big. He's like 6'6". He's a super tall dude. And I'm just like holding him underwater so he can do his actions before he busts out.
Yeah, because it looks like they were under there for quite a while. And Santa goes in there because he has to get the potion to wake Mrs. Claus, because somebody out of nowhere shoots a dart in her neck and she falls asleep against the tree. And he's like, oh my God, I have to go get this potion now. And so the abominable snowman eats Santa. He's tired. So then he takes a nap. And then Santa bursts out of using his axe, bursts out of his stomach. A ton of CGI blood comes out, which is hilarious. And then the keeper of the abominable snowman is very bummed at this. And they get Santa, and Santa is unconscious. He shrinks himself and goes inside
with the vape.
Yeah, with the vape. And then he goes into Santa's mouth and into his stomach.
Like a little Mario, too.
Yeah, boop, 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 right into his mouth. And then he's swimming around in his stomach, because we all know that's what our insides look like, a swimming pool with just a lot of water. Yes. And then he rips himself out, like, haha, I've had my revenge. And of course, the skull from one of the two, the male skull with the X's in the eyes, says, well, he's not dead because they're Mr. and Mrs. Claus. They're immortal, which means we can have more Christmas with Cookie.
That's true.
That's right. True. That's right. So this is, like I said, this movie is crazy. It's crazy.
I forgot how wacky it was until you just described it all.
Well, and one of the things I like, this is towards more the beginning of that story, is, so it's supposed to be 1,000 years later, and they run by a rock that has graffiti on it. And I'm like, why did they pick that rock? Is that supposed to be like 1,000-year-old graffiti? Or did they just not notice the graffiti? Or is this new graffiti? Like, are there mutants running around? See, I put a lot of thought into these movies.
Well, maybe it's the abominable snowman keeper and his friend.
Oh, yeah. That's possible. Yeah, that would make sense. Okay.
Those two were so funny on set. They did a lot of improv too. Evan and Kevin. Those guys were wacky.
Yeah, they look like they were having fun. I like how the keeper, while they're trying to pull up Mrs. Claus, and the one guy has to hold the skull, and he's trying to get her up, and the guy's like, pull her up. And he's like, I got one hand, I'm holding the skull. And then the keeper changes voices to when now he's serious, like, pull her up. And then he goes back to his voice again, like his kind of acting voice. And so I thought that was really funny. And seen inside, Santa gets his way out. Man, we're almost at the end of this. And then holding the skull, Santa's keeper shrinks himself, goes in the pool. Man, yeah, we're almost done with this one. Let's see. Keeper cuts his way out. Santa is so then they pull Santa. Let's see, sets pulled. Yeah, so it's Mrs. Claus who gets her arms. Oh no, Santa gets pulled apart by the keeper and Santa. Yeah. And I kept calling him the skull holder, but I guess his name is either supposed to be Peter or Frank.
The skull is Peter.
Is Peter. He's Frank.
Frank is the guy who's holding him. Yes.
Now, as far as the voices go and stuff, was this ADR'd?
Almost the whole movie was ADR'd.
On purpose?
No, I think it was because most of the days we didn't have anyone willing to do audio. And because most of the movie, the characters are masked, like Mr. and Mrs. Claus, you can't see their lips moving anyways, that I was just like, screw it. We'll just do it all in post. And then the keeper and Frank were the only two that we actually had to match lips to in the whole movie.
Okay. Yeah, then there's the abominable snowman and our Santa. I love the way that abominable snowman looks. And I like that he's Christmas. Yeah, I like that. He's very Christmassy. And then they meet up with they give Mrs. Claus the formula, like the antidote, and then they pull her hands off. I mean, they pull her hands off. Lots of CGI blood comes out from them. And then we get from the keeper, we get the laser beam into space because they have to contact the UFO.
I forgot about this part. You're right. This is the big ending. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we meet up with these two that are the alien and the walrus guy.
So the walrus guy is actually played by the composer. And the chameleon, that's Noel Jason Scott, who did his own makeup.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that looks cool. I mean, it looks good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did a great job.
And then I don't want to give away this really kind of the ending to this either, because I thought it was funny, but I love the line. I will say that I don't know if we can make a sequel because the Earth is no more. But the very end, and this is what I don't want to give away, is I'll just give the line that I love, which is "fuck that moon."
That was also improv. They were supposed to speak only in subtitles, and I believe just on set, the composer was just like, I want to say "fuck that moon," and it was just too funny not to keep, so we kept that one in English.
And yeah, I thought that was because one of the things that it also reminded me of, I don't know if you've seen this video, is of the creature from the Black Lagoon, and it's him destroying everything, and it's done to just, I think it's just regular music.
Fuck that lamp.
Yeah, fuck that lamp. Fuck that door. Fuck this ladder. And so when he goes, "fuck that moon," I instantly thought of that, and it cracked me up because I just love "fuck that," whatever it is, fuck this. And then somebody walks away. Very funny.
About Cookie is, I think Cookie rules don't make sense. Rules don't exist. So there's always room for more. And it's just like the original Planet of the Apes. I'm a huge Apes fan, so there's a lot of nods to it. In part 2, they blew up the Earth because Chuck Heston didn't want to come back for a sequel. And he's like, and if the Earth's gone, they cannot make a part 3.
Yeah.
Wrong was he.
Yep. Yeah, and he even blows up the Earth. I mean, he's the guy that gets his hand on that lever and pushes it down and blows up the whole planet. So, but yeah, they figured out a way to do what, like 3 more?
Oh yeah, and a TV series and a cartoon.
2, yep. Comic books. Yeah, and then three more movies. So And I'm even a Tim Burton, Planet of the Apes fan. I actually like that
I
film.
love them all. They're all great.
And a lot of people criticize the Tim Burton one, and I kind of understand why, but I absolutely love that ending with the
I think
ape,
there's a lot of Tim
Lincoln.
Burton naysayers out there, but really, in my opinion, like Tim Burton's a filmmaking genius. He makes such amazing movies, and like even my least favorite Burton movie is still really good. Like I think people just like to complain.
Yeah, and they don't get that. If you've ever read the book for Planet of the Apes,
it's closer to the original.
Yeah, it's that ending is what the book is that Taylor lands on Earth, and the monkey, the gorillas and the chimpanzees and all that stuff are in cars and planes, and they're wearing suits and all that type of stuff. And I don't think that they realize that, and it's at the beginning and the end, is Mark Wahlberg's character is like the chimpanzee at the very beginning. There are several like portals, and he goes just through one of the portals. So at the very end, when Mark Wahlberg is in the ship, he doesn't know what portal to go through. So he just picks a portal, and he ends up on this alternate world, which I thought would have been great if they did a sequel to. And
I love the new trilogy story, and I love the visuals from Tim Burton's, and I almost wish that we had the story of the new trilogy with Rick Baker's makeup.
That would have been good. Because Rick Baker's makeup in that is absolutely great. I am a big fan of the new trilogy for many reasons, but one of them is I'm from the Bay Area, so for me, San Francisco is like
watching your home.
That's why I love I love that Skynet is San Francisco. I love that Starfleet is San Francisco. It's like all these movies. It's just they know that San Francisco is one of the greatest cities out there, and that's where they're going to have all this action take place. So big fan of the apes. Love the Planet of the Apes stuff.
Same.
But then, of course, during the credits, not a Planet of the Apes, but Christmas with Cookie, we have Cookie Rap, written and performed by you. By Cookie. How did that come about? And it's a long rap.
A lot of the great films end with raps. You have Lep in the Hood. You have The Crypt Keeper even did a rap at one point.
Yeah, he did.
You have the opening theme song to many movies like Killer Clowns. So I thought Christmas with Cookie needs a theme song.
And it does.
It's true.
So there should be an album that comes out with all these guys singing their songs, like Freddie doing his rap, and I guess you really couldn't do Jason or Michael rapping, but
it would just be grunting.
Yeah, that's about it.
They could be the hype men.
Yeah, they could just be behind going. Just doing the head thing, but with their arms like right in front of them. Oh, excuse me. So that ends Christmas with Cookie. Is there anything else you would like to talk about with Christmas with Cookie? Anything that we haven't covered that you think people would like to know?
Well, I love that you have an overall fantastic experience while watching it. When it first came out, I talked to a lot of people, and there's no one in the middle. It's either they hate it or they love it. And I think if you understand it, if you understand what we are going for, you love it because you get it. We were not trying to make a serious movie. And when you just submit to that, then you can enjoy the ride. And I'm glad you enjoyed the ride.
I did, and I'm proud to own a copy of it in my collection. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, the next one is a short, and it's called Patina. And it's right now, it's I believe it's private, but you let me watch it, and it's on Vimeo. Is it available any other place to watch?
You can watch it on Amazon.
Oh, okay. Like Amazon Prime?
Yep.
Okay. And it's 11 minutes, and it was made 2019. And it deals with an android, so like an AI, artificial intelligence. And it's and they call him Pat for short. And was that you? Were you Pat?
I was Patina. Yep.
Okay. And how was that getting into all that makeup and everything? Because that was a full head and all that stuff.
It was the same process as Cookie. You know, it was full prosthetics, and this one was Patina was a lot easier to perform because he really only says one thing.
Yes.
Cookie, on the other hand, Cookie, you know, before we dive into Patina, I guess there is one thing I can say about Cookie is all of his stuff we shot in one day. Basically, we just had the script, we plopped the cameras in front of me and shot it all because it was all just straight on. We didn't have to go anywhere. And that took a long time. And then for the other two Cookie films that you saw, we shot both of them in one day. And that was too much. We almost gave up.
Well, yeah, because you got, so Cookie's rap, I'm assuming, is the rap that's at the end of the movie? Or is that a different rap? Okay, then we got Christmas with Cookie, then Locked Away, and then The Watching. So what are those?
Locked Away is him reading a book about zombies, which is a zombie movie called Locked Away.
Okay.
And a friend of mine made the film, and we had an agreement to let me use it, Mystery Science Theater 3000 style.
Oh, fun.
And same with The Watching. The Watching is a ghost story. And so Cookie gets to visit those. And those ones were hard to do just because we did them both all in one day. We were tired. I was smoking a cigar as Cookie while drinking milk, and we were in a hot, sweaty garage. It was not pleasant at all. Those ones were very bad, not bad experiences, but they weren't fun to do like the first one was.
Was it like an Anchorman when he's drinking the rotten milk on the hot day and he's like, this was a bad idea. I can only imagine milk and a cigar together must have been a horrible idea.
Yeah. But Patina was better. But Patina, you know, he had more depth too. Cookie had more comedy and he was fun and zany, but Patina, even though he only says the one line, the looks that he gives say a lot in each moment. And I think he has a lot of tension just in his face and his eyes, and the moments he chooses to turn his head or his body and things like that, which are much more subtle, but I think they play much larger, which was a lot of fun to play.
How, if you don't mind, how much was the budget on that?
Patina was about, I think it was $5,000-ish.
Oh, wow. So Christmas's Cookie was 1,000, and that was 53 minutes, and this is 11 minutes, and it was $5,000.
Well, I ask anyone to work for free again, so this one had a fully paid.
Oh, okay, good. That's nice. Yeah. Well, and it looks better. It visually it looks better, and looks like you got maybe like even a better camera on it because it looks overall better.
Yes, everything was more professional on it, as professional as one can be with $5,000. But the reason why I made Patina is I actually started conceptualizing Alien Planet before Patina. But I knew if I needed to raise money for a big film like Alien Planet, no one's going to give me their money based on Christmas with Cookie. So I was like, I need to make something as a proof of concept of I can make an actual decent film with a real budget. So I invested in myself by making Patina as a short film. And that was kind of I go, okay, now I have proof, like I can finish a feature and I can finish an actual good thing. Now let's try to raise money for Alien Planet. So Patina was actually an intent of my path to get to the film I just did.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And what is Patina? Where does that name come from?
It's like the rust on an antique car. Patina. It's when you don't remove any of the rust or the original paint from a car, and it's called patina, and it's very special to car enthusiasts. So if they have a really, really old original car, they don't want to remove that because that patina is from when it was really built. It's not repainted or sanded and re-ironed or re-welded and whatnot. And so patina was kind of the same. He had some rusty spots on him, and his gears sounded quite rusty when he moves. And so that was the intent for him, was he was just, this little older model, doesn't quite work the way he should, which is why he acts the way he does in the film.
Well, and yeah, because they're kind of mean to him. Like she doesn't like him. The girlfriend or wife doesn't like him, and then
Mm-hmm.
the guy who brings him home just kind of wants to keep him as a slave.
Yep.
And she's just kind of creeped out by him. Is this in this world? Is this a normal thing? Like families own one of these robots for doing like chores and everything?
Yeah, it was when I wrote it, it was basically like having an Alexa. You ask Alexa a question, which is why her name is Alexa in it.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Yeah.
Yep, it's basically just like we have someone listening in our home at all times. You want to know how to do something, you just ask, and it's like they're a little slave. Right now they're just slave voices, but I mean, Tesla is even talking having a Tesla bot, which is basically Patina. So it's a warning tale of technology, which is nothing new. We've seen this warning tale a million times, but it's definitely one that we are creeping even closer and closer to every day.
Right. Now, with the design of the android, it is a little dark. I mean, it's got the more kind of more evil looking. It's not. Why go a little more dark with it instead of maybe making it more friendly or approachable or something that wouldn't freak her out as much?
Because then there would be no reason for her to be freaked out. I felt that this was something that, people have different levels of what creeps them out. And I think John's character has a much more wider range. Like he can look at that thing and be like, just a robot, whatever, cool, do my chores for me, awesome, no biggie. It's like watching a horror movie with your girlfriend. To you, the horror movie is just fun and you just enjoy it, where maybe she's actually scared and now she's like, thanks, now I'm not going to sleep for the next 2 nights. It's the same with this robot. And so Alexa is kind of just thinking, well, this thing's terrifying looking, why would you leave me alone with it? And he's like, it's fine, just ask it to do something, I'll be home in a bit, taking for granted her feelings towards it. It's a subtle real life situation that we all have, not necessarily in things like scariness, but just we all have different levels of how we perceive things and what offends us, what makes us afraid. We hear this too with women when they talk about walking down alleys. Like you hear a lot of like, we women have carried our keys in our fists every time we walk to our car at night since we've been born. It's like we take that for granted as men. We don't fear walking alone at night, and most women do. So I think,
right.
It's a subtle social commentary, but it's there, and it's something that is in real life where we do take for granted other people have different perceptions of life. And I think that's kind of what Patina is for the two of them. Is one just saw it as nothing, slave, cool, do my chores, and the other one was like, there's something to be feared of you, and she ended up being right.
No, I've always wondered in these types of movies, do movies and books and things exist? Because like if all of a sudden these things came around, is Eisenhower, are books by Eisenhower around? Are movies like Blade Runner around where people would go, or iRobot, let's say, with like Will Smith, where if this type of android popped up, people might go, wait a minute, I've seen movies and these things never go right. They always, get tired of being a slave and they rebel against their humans. So in your film, do you think that those type of things exist?
Absolutely, because that's real life. Like we have the Tesla bot coming, we have self-driving cars. We have things that we have been warned about in past history before they were invented. And it's true. Like even things like being, in the Matrix or being in your own digital world, but yet now here we are. Most people are on Facebook more than talking to real humans. So it's like we are experiencing a world where all these things are real while we've already been warned about it, but it just keeps happening.
Yeah, it's weird. Like if I see a zombie film and people are like, oh, what's that? It's like, do you mean to tell me there are no zombie books? There's no zombie movies. There's no zombie comics. There's no zombie posters. There's no like zombies don't exist in this world within this film. I always find weird. So something where it's like iRobot, where the one robot basically, starts to learn and become more human. Like,
Right.
why Will Smith wouldn't say something like, well, yeah, there's all these books about zombie, about robots rebelling. And,
Right.
and there's been a ton of movies on it. Why wouldn't we think this would happen? I find it weird when just films don't exist with these things in them. It's just weird to me. So glad to hear that they would exist. If this was like a feature, I'm assuming that they would, with something like that would be brought up.
I think they would exist in a future version of that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And what films have influenced you with doing like what influenced you to do Christmas with Cookie? Like what films come to your mind when you kind of came up with the idea of this? And then what films influenced you, with Patina?
Christmas Cookie, I don't know if I'd say there was really an influence, but Patina, I was watching a lot of Tales from the Dark Side when I wrote it. And so it's short stories with a twist ending, slightly evil, and a lot of thriller tension vibe during it. And I think if Tales from the Dark Side were to be rebooted, I think Patina would be a great candidate to be an episode of it. Alien Planet was a huge inspiration from Enemy Mine, V, Alien
Oh, that's a good
Nation.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
Three, yeah, 2 good movies, 1 good TV show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess there's always a little bit of Planet of the Apes in all of my films. There's always something, just because that franchise is just the greatest storytelling ever, and so there's always little nods of that and stuff. Because the thing I like about Planet of the Apes is none of the films have a happy ending. Every single one of them is absolutely sad. It's heartbreaking.
Well, especially Escape. Oh my God, Escape is horrible. They get murdered at the end.
Gut-wrenching. And it's the most fun, family-friendly movie until then.
Right.
So that one takes a big turn. And so same with Cookie, it's got a big surprise ending that's not the happiest. Patina, the same. So it's like, I think, those type of movies I think are just, they leave an impact on me. And so I want to put a touch of that into my movies.
Yeah, it's weird with like the original Planet of the Apes films where they were, if you look at the posters, they're all like G. It's like, what? Yeah. But yet people are getting slaughtered in this. It's like, these are not G friendly movies. And, and of course, as I'm sure you've probably heard and maybe even seen the original ending of Conquest.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that. It's on the Blu-ray,
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So because I do have the Blu-ray. Did I see it on there? I think I originally saw it on YouTube, but somebody had recorded it from a TV. So it was kind of crappy. But yeah, that is a dark ending. That was, I still wish they went with it, but then I guess we couldn't have had Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, because I feel like Caesar's, growth as, a good leader wouldn't have come to be if he slaughtered the governor and all the humans in that battle.
Right. Yeah, and then of course I guess just things would start up again. It would just kind of go back to the beginning. So yeah, it would have been interesting to see where it would have gone, or even after Battle of what would have been done. So I've heard that they want to reboot again. Are you going to, being such a fan and being with the creature actor, is that something you would try out for?
Oh, it's on my biggest bucket list.
That would be great. Yeah.
And I train on arm extensions like the ones they used in the new trilogy. So I'm
that's ready. On your reel. That's on your reel. That was cool.
Ask me to audition. I am ready.
Yeah, please, for people who watch this. Yeah, if anybody out there works on the new series, please give Alan a message to let him come down and give it a chance, because I think he would do great in it. So
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a. I was really surprised when I saw the first new one, because I thought, they're going to start it with Conquest. What? Why would they do that? Yeah. And I was so glad that in the direction they went.
That's my least favorite out of every Planet of the Apes made anything, is Rise, is my least favorite. But it's still good. I expected it to be for some reason, based on the trailers, when I went into the theater, I expected it to be horrendous. And I left the theater going, that was actually not bad at all. And I went back and saw it again because it was surprisingly really, really good. And then Dawn and War just upped the ante. Like Matt Reeves is fantastic. Matt Reeves, if you hear this, you're an amazing director. You did those movies so much justice.
Yeah, I was very, well, I can't say I was very surprised because I mean they were off to a good start, and so I was just very happy with the way that they went, and I even liked how they brought in the whole like human mute thing. Yep. Like it was a disease that happened to them, kind of explaining it. So then this way you could watch War and then go back to the original Planet of the Apes and start from there.
I don't think they connect at all. There's just too many.
You don't think so?
No, there's too many inconsistencies, and it just the way it's different and the way they've already used names for different characters. It's clearly not connected to me in my mind. I have a hunch the director had zero intention of it being connected as well. But if anyone were to say it's connected to the originals, I think that would ruin it for me. I'd be like, but how? You guys did a poor job connecting it if they claim it. So to me, I try to keep it separate because I think they're very, very different.
Yeah, I think my problem with like the Tim Burton one is I don't think that there was enough fan service to the original films, because I like at the very end,
a whole new thing. Yeah,
like we're in Battle for the Planet of the Apes. There's the line, now fight like apes, and I thought that would have been perfect. At the end of the Tim Burton ones, when Mark Wahlberg is out there, he could have said, now fight like apes.
Yeah.
They're apes. They're fighting. So it's just like, man, you threw away a good line, and I kind of wish he went a little for that. But then, of course, I guess if you talk to somebody like Kevin Smith, he would think very differently from what he has said.
I didn't know he hated that one.
Yeah, he's not a fan of Tim Burton. Kevin Smith wrote some of the comic books, and I guess it kind of ended the same way with the ape Lincoln. And he's like, yeah, Tim Burton stole that from me. And if you ever watch An Evening with Kevin Smith or just on YouTube, just Kevin Smith, Tim Burton, it's a whole thing that he has against Tim Burton, saying that he's not like a true comic book fan. And apparently he's never watched the Planet of the Apes movies or read a comic book. And yeah, it's pretty harsh, actually. Yeah, it's kind of brutal. So,
Yeah, the new ones are great. And the thing I love about it, too, is it's like, because they feel... Well, the thing that makes it for sure not connected to me is we learn in the originals a disease killed cats and dogs. So apes evolved from pets to servants to slaves to revolution. Whereas in the new one, it's a magic potion. And I think
and I never understood the cat and dog thing, because cat and dogs aren't waiters. When they're,
when the astronauts brought back a disease that killed cats and dogs. So humans brought chimps and apes into their homes to replace them as pets. But then slowly over time, they saw that they were good at tasks. So they gave them tasks. And then they were doing servant type things. Then they became slaves. And then you revolted from there. And Armando explains that a little bit. And it's a very brief sentence, but he says it in Conquest.
It definitely seems like a bad idea. That it's especially when we know that, like chimpanzees can rip your face off. It may not be the best thing to do. It's not a puppy or a kitten. It's just at some point it may rip your child's face off. Or get.
But I think that's the one big distinct difference to me of why they can't connect, because they've already established how it started and it's different.
Sure.
But who knows? I hope if they keep going, I hope it keeps continuing down the timeline of the new three, because they did show in Rise the Icarus leaves. So it'd be cool if the next franchise is the Icarus landing in the world that precedes Rise, Dawn, and War.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That'd be nice if they still connected. Yeah. I agree with that. I forgot about that.
Of the originals at that point is what it would be.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, yeah, I like that. And what about the Godzilla stuff? Is there any plans on? Because I thought it was lame in Godzilla versus King Kong, how they're like, oh yeah, all the monsters died. Like, what? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the plan is after that. I think I do know Legendary and Toho have different contracts where they can't make them at the same time. So when one is making one, the other has to stop, which is why there was such a huge break between 2014 and the one I'm in, because they were making Shin Godzilla. And so they had to halt at Legendary until Shin Godzilla was finished. So I don't know what the next plan is, but I hope they do more, because I'd love to, be invited back. I would love for them to do a Mecha Ghidorah or something.
Yeah, it's so weird that you could get all these films that start from, like, I think the original was like 1954, and you bring it all the way into the 90s and Godzilla 2000, and it's like you can have all these like 15, 20 movies, and they have difficulties making 5 today.
Right.
And it's like, come on, guys. I mean, it wasn't that hard to just go, it's Godzilla now versus, Mecha Godzilla, or now it's Godzilla versus Mothra. Now it's Godzilla versus the smog monster.
Thing. Because I do know Toho's very strict with their rights, because we did, for History of Horror, which I edited, we had an episode on monsters, and we wanted to touch on Godzilla, because in that episode we talked about how monsters are actually social commentary for fill in the blank. And Godzilla is social commentary for the atom bomb.
Sure.
And we wanted to touch on that, but we had to scrap it because Toho would not allow us to use images of Godzilla. They ended up using him in, like, I think season 2 or 3 or something for a different one. But in season 1, Toho they were pretty strict on what was allowed. So I do know their rights issues are stricter than the average bear. So that's probably why Legendary takes so long. But I don't know. I'm just speaking for what I've heard tweets about, little birds. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. And
so
King Kong is American. So
yeah, all you hardcore Godzilla fans, don't quote me.
Well, I mean, for the newer Godzilla, the one that was made, like 10 years ago now, which he destroys San Francisco. I mean, they created their own monsters, and I think they did fine with that. I think, with all the Toho stuff, they always created like new monsters, but they brought back a couple ones. So I don't think it'd be the worst thing if they could get the American Godzilla now to maybe fight some new ones, start a whole new kind of legacy with, with all these new monsters, instead of having to constantly go back. And then that way you could do work with brand new monsters.
Yeah. I would also love to do a suit Godzilla. I'd love to be in a Toho one with a practical suit. That'd be so fun.
With how he kind of walks around like this because of the rubber all.
That'd be such a blast.
Those ones that they did in like the late 80s and 90s were so good, with the camera looking over the city, and there was just this massive set. I mean, just beautiful. If people could see those like original widescreen subtitled versions that were not altered at all by America. I mean, they're beautiful. They're gorgeous. Great soundtracks, good stories. They're fun. So it's just, we just have to kind of ruin everything. Sad. So, well, let's start to wrap this up, because I know you got to leave. It's in like 15 minutes, and I want to give you time for what you need to do, at 5:30. So is there, so this is where I let people, is there anything that you'd like to plug? It could be for the past, the present, the future. What would you like people to know?
I think, my number one thing I think you brought up is, my number one goal is I want to be in a Planet of the Apes film. My bucket lists are to be in a Planet of the Apes film and a Star Wars film or TV show. Oh. So anyone who's listening, if you need a creature or an ape, I'm your guy. But, as for plugs for me, keep an eye out for my next movie. I think you can go to alienplanetfilm.com, and you'll see links to watching all the Cookie movies if you want to buy a DVD. You'll see a link to watching Patina if you want to check that out. And then also you'll see updates for Alien Planet when it comes out, which will probably be this time next year. So, and I'm very, very proud of Alien Planet. It's such an awesome movie. We had so much fun making it, and I think everyone's going to really like it. So I really want everyone to get as many eyeballs on it as they can.
Yeah, and the trailer looks really fun. And I would say Hacked, watch you in Hacked, because that's
Hacked is such a great movie.
Yeah, that's you playing a regular person. So,
which is rare, playing a human.
Yeah. So it's worth, catching that. And
that was fun. When I got to play with Matt Festel, I went to his house, and we did this scene where my character is supposed to be like yelling at his character. And it was so fun because I think I really got to him. Like our characters that I was just like, no, listen, you are fired, or whatever the scene was. And he was just like genuinely like, it was so fun. We had such great tension. His performance was like so real and so perfect. Just shout out to you, Matt. I know you don't, he doesn't act a lot. He doesn't have a lot of acting roles, but he should, because it was so great. And it was genuine reactions, and it felt real too. It was such a good time. So
I like I said, I was very impressed by it, and I still am. And I think everybody did a great job in that. And that's, Sean C. Phillips and everybody in it. It honestly changed my opinion on Sean C. Phillips, who I just took as a YouTuber, and he just got acting roles because he's a YouTuber, basically. And I did get to work with him on a film called Night of the Zomghouls, and I enjoyed working with him on that. And then Hacked, I think so. Actually working with him and Hacked kind of changed my opinion on him. And I thought everybody just did a really good job. I mean, it was well directed. There were really good shots in there. I really liked you in it. It was great seeing, you without all the bubbles on you and all that type of stuff. It just, everybody did a good job. So,
yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you got a great resume. So, and it will just keep going. I know it. So it's just going to get bigger.
Yeah,
that Godzilla poster will get replaced by something even bigger in the future. I'm sure.
I hope so. Yeah, this was a nice gift from Mike, the director. He wrote on it.
Oh, sweet.
He said, will it even, let's see if we can get it there. Can you even read that there?
It says, let's see, 2 or 4 Alan. I got in
Godzilla We Trust.
Oh, sweet. That's nice.
Yeah, so he sent that to us, and we also got like a leather bound Monarch journal thing. So that was really cool.
Wow. See, that's when you know that you're appreciated, when you get things like that, especially when it's personalized.
Yes, exactly.
It could have just been best wishes and that's it, and which he would have signed for the entire crew. Yeah, there you go. So, all right, I want to wrap this up so you're not late, for what you need to do after this. I really do appreciate you doing this. Like I said, it's an honor having you on here. And I'm probably going to take a break after this one for a little bit to get my own movies done. So,
well, let me know if you need any monsters on it.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. No, I would greatly appreciate that. I would love to have you in something. So I think that'd just be awesome. So I already thought today with Miranda, I'm like, I wonder if I could work with Miranda to get Alan something. Like, we could work as and poorly put, but have a threesome and come up with some idea. And she would do the effects, she would do the acting, I would do the directing, we could write it. And I thought, awesome. Yeah, like what could we do? Because she wants to do a monster movie. I know that.
I believe Tom Devlin has My Life cast at their shop. So have her go pick it up.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, sweet. Yeah. So we'll think more about that. So, 2022 is just right around the corner. So,
dude, I can't believe. Yeah, it still feels like it's 2020. It's crazy that it's 2 years in.
For me, 2016 to 2020 felt like 100 years, and now time's just going right by. So,
it's flying.
to do, not to get a little political in there, but you know. So, all right, I'm going to let you go. I don't want you to be late.
Political as you want, John.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we do
show.
from time to time. That's
Although
true.
I see you chose red as your color. I think that's your political standpoint, right?
Well, yes, because we're making film great again. and it's meant to be going through my neck. Like so you put a spear through me.
I love it. Oh, that looks great. You should actually add like a handle and make the other side a blade so it doesn't look like it. That'd be fun.
I've thought about that from time to time. Like, is it, you know, like, oh, is it going through my head or my neck or something? What's in there? But yeah, Joe Lujan made up all my promo stuff, and he's really good at this type of stuff. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, it was great. So all right, I'm gonna let you go. We can talk for hours. And
John, it was awesome. Let's definitely set up another one. Let's do this soon.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. When Alien Planet comes out, I'll have you right back on or for anything else.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready to do another. I'll be there.
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. And once again, thank you, Alan, for being here. And I will talk with everybody later. So bye.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out after the video. And thank you for watching the very first Dark Park Films sponsored video. And who is that sponsor? Well, I've now learned if I do this with my hands, they go to the right area. There we go. That would be Wildlife Command Center Coffee. And you can purchase it right there. You can go to their website, which is buyWCC.com, and pick up their coffee. They have 2 blends, which I'm going to show you now. The first coffee is this one right here. This is a breakfast blend. It's 10 ounces, and it is a medium ground. And it does say, and it's breakfast, like I said, and this is what it says right here. It says, early bird can catch the worm. So there you go, a breakfast blend coffee that helps you catch the worm in the morning. And I really like this one. I'm more of a breakfast kind of blend coffee guy in the morning. So this one I really like. It has that little bit of oomph to it to kind of get you moving, get you up and out. And so I really enjoy this one, but that doesn't mean that I don't like the other one, which is this one right here. This is a dark roast. It is also 10 ounces, and both of these are $7.99 at their website. Pretty good price for 10 ounces worth of ground coffee. This one is, it's a little darker. So it's, I think it's better for drinking at night. Maybe if you're, writing a screenplay or if you're filming, this has got that oomph, that double punch to get you going. So this is one that I also recommend. I like both of these quite a bit, but I kind of do, the breakfast in the morning and then the dark more at night. So I recommend both of these quite a bit. And how did I find out about these two, these two coffees here? And how did I find out about Wildlife Command Center? Well, when I was working on Night of the Zomghouls, there was a box of coffee that was just sitting there filled with coffee. And we didn't know what to do with it. Like, whose is this? Who brought it? Why is it here? And so we just kept going to the store and buying coffee. And then one day I said, why don't we just get the coffee out of the box and use that instead of, wasting money on going to Smith's or whatever and picking up coffee. So we did. We did not realize that it was the Wildlife Command Center coffee and that it, was sponsoring the movie. And it was great coffee. Everybody loved it. And we just went right through it. By the last day of filming, this coffee was gone. And I went and found out, about Wildlife Command Center, asked if they would like to be a sponsor for Dark Park Films, for their coffee. As many of you know, I love coffee. I love coffee mugs. And so this was a perfect match. And Wildlife Command Center is great with animals. So they provide a great service for rescuing animals. So it's kind of that double whammy for me, where coffee, helping animals, you can't go wrong. And they were even cool enough to send me, get in there, a coffee mug, because they knew that I liked coffee mugs. And right now, gotta get that a little bit. I'm gonna go on the keyboard, but that's their dark blend, because I'm recording this at night. So I am actually drinking that while recording. Also, one thing that you can get at their website, which is cool, is you can get this. There you go, this pocket knife, which is $9.49. And this is pretty cool because it has their name on it. Wildlife Command Center, we can catch it. And this is what it looks like. Put that down there. There we go. Fully out. So you're getting like the bottle opener, you got the corkscrew, you got a screwdriver, you got a blade, and then you got this little hook thing that you could pop it into something that doesn't have a tab, and then the liquid or whatever in there will come out. So this is pretty cool. And I'm just going to keep mine in my car, because you never know, you might need a pocket knife. So please support them. I'm going to have links down below, where you can, check out just the Wildlife Command Center. I'll also have a link for Wildlife Command Center coffee, and it will basically be for both these guys right here. And please support them. I support them. I think what they do is pretty awesome. And maybe this coffee will be on your set or in your kitchen. It will definitely be, on my set in my kitchen. I know that. So please, once again, I'm going to show you these. Please go to their website and pick up their coffee and make it part of your day or night, depending on which one you like. So that'll be about it. I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. And yeah, so thank you. And once again, please support my channel. Please support the Wildlife Command Center, and I will catch you later. Bye.